All right, y'all, welcome to the show. It is Wednesday, October 19th. Happy birthday and a big shout out to my sister. It is her birthday today. If you're watching, which you're not, but that's okay. I love you very much. Yeah, it's weird because when you could ask other content creators about this, but I don't know if this is universal, but to me, I kind of like it that my family doesn't watch my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you don't want the Thanksgiving dinner conversation, Christmas conversations. You don't want, yeah. you guys know the deal. I think you know the deal. It's nice to just sort of do my thing on my own. But happy birthday to my sister. Maybe I'll clip this out and send this to her. She might appreciate that. Anyway, a lot of stuff to talk about today. So I can't shut the fuck up about Kanye West because Kanye West can't shut the fuck up. And every time he opens his mouth, it's a new anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, new controversial-ass comment that, in this instance, the family of George Floyd is now coming after him. So we're going to talk about that. Trump has weighed in on Kanye's, effectively, mental breakdown. I have Nancy Pelosi throwing a tantrum on MSNBC. I have some new video coming out of Florida because DeSantis did this voter fraud crackdown. And the videos are incredible because you have police officers arresting these people are like apologetic because they know that what they're doing is just a publicity stunt and it's total bullshit. So, can't wait until you guys see that. And then Cenk Uygur comes out and says he thinks that Democrats are going to get absolutely draxed in the midterms. I'll break down his comments. Do I agree? Do I disagree? Why? All that stuff. And then later on in the show, we have a political candidate in New York City who fucks. He fucks, and he fucks on camera. And this is now like a campaign issue. There's a video that I believe, if the article I read yesterday is accurate, it began trending on Pornhub because there were like a lot of articles written about it. So there's a lot of stuff to get to. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first, let's talk about Donald Trump and him commenting on Kanye West's mental breakdown in the public eye. So October 17th, we get this article in Mediaite. Kanye West says he's having dinner with Trump this week to try and recruit him to join Parler. So let me give you a little bit of the backstory here. I'm sure most of you know it already, but Kanye West, it's been announced that Kanye West is going to buy Parler. Now, Parler is one of those, social media apps that sort of branded itself with, we're all about free speech, bro, because, the current apps are way too censorious. And Candace Owens' husband happens to own Parler. So it's a little curious for the simple reason that Kanye West has sort of, liked Candace Owens for a while now. And Candace Owens has clearly been, nurturing that relationship with Kanye West. They were recently seen at some event where they were both wearing the White Lives Matter shirt. And it turns out, it may be the case that Candace was playing the long game. And effectively, what's happening here is Candace's husband is getting, bailed out by Kanye because he's now buying the social media app Parler. So he wants Trump to join that. And let's see what they say in the article here. Kanye West, who now goes by Ye, is sitting down with former President Donald Trump for dinner this week, and he's going to make him an offer he hopes he can't refuse. The revelation came from an interview the rapper did with Bloomberg following the announcement that he is seeking to purchase Parler, a right-leaning social media platform that acts as an alternative to Twitter, Facebook, and others. Ye was recently suspended from Twitter following an anti-Semitic rant, one of his 327 of them. By the way, my prediction also turned out to be correct when we covered Kanye West on Drink Champs on Revolt TV. I showed you a lot of the juiciest, craziest moments, and I said, I would be surprised if this thing doesn't get pulled. Now, I think and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it was actually pulled by Drink Champs, by Revolt TV. I think they made the decision to pull it. First, they released some article, fact-checking all the shit Kanye said, which, by the way, that had to be the longest article of all time. But then after that, I think they pulled it because there was just so much backlash. So I'm right that it came down. I'm wrong in the dynamics of how it came down. I thought maybe YouTube would pull it, but it seems like it may be the case that they actually pulled it. The revelation came from an interview the rapper did with Bloomberg following the announcement that he is seeking to purchase Parler, a right-wing social media platform. Okay, we already covered that part. Trump was similarly booted from Twitter and other social media platforms and now posts to his own Truth Social platform. Ye is hoping to change this, as Bloomberg's Kurt Wagner and Kim Basin reported. The rapper is meeting with the former president this week, and he's going to try to get him to join Parler. Ye added that he would also join Trump's Truth Social in a cross-promotion of sorts for the former president and former presidential candidate. Ye said he still needs to speak to his advisors over whether he should abandon all social media platforms in favor of just Parler. Okay, allow me to act as Kanye's advisor. Kanye, should you abandon all social media? And in fact, let's just go with all cameras? The answer is yes. The answer is you should have done it like 2 fucking years ago. Just very, very public mental breakdown. By the way, he was just on Chris Cuomo's show on News Nation, which gets roughly 12 viewers. But Mediaite posted some clips of it. And Kanye West is answering questions from Chris Cuomo as he's driving in the dark in his car. He's literally hopping in front of every camera he can, you know, using every microphone in the vicinity, talking to anybody and everybody, and by the way, continuously making everything worse for him. Parler will act as a net for people who have been bullied by the thought police on other social media platforms, Ye told Bloomberg. Quote, we're using this as a net for the people who have been bullied by the thought police to come and speak their mind, express how you feel, express what's tied up inside of you, express what's been haunting you, he said about Parler. I use social media as my therapist. I don't know, Kanye. I don't know if that's a good idea, bro. I don't know. Ye also met with Elon Musk last week following his Twitter suspension. The new report revealed Musk is set to purchase Twitter. You guys know that $44 billion deal. Blah blah blah. Okay, so that's the first thing that we get. Donald Trump is meeting with Kanye. Now, why is this noteworthy? Well, you know, the specifics of it are what I just laid out for you. But the reason it's noteworthy is like, Homeboy is very clearly in the midst of a public mental breakdown. He clearly has untreated bipolar disorder. He was previously diagnosed with bipolar disorder, by the way. And clearly his contrarianism and his conspiracy thinking has led him down a very, very bad path. Now, it is in this moment probably the low of Kanye West's life, or at the very least his public image, that Trump's like, oh, hell yeah. Yeah, let's do a meeting. This is great. And remember, Trump dipped his toe in the anti-Semitic waters after Kanye led the way. Because it was literally a day later, Trump tweeted about, you know, the ungrateful American Jews who don't give him his credit when he deserves his credit. Okay? I mean, the mask is slipping. This is something Crystal and I were talking about last night. The mask is slipping. Like, there used to be a time where there was enough of I don't want to say decorum or decency, because I feel like those words have negative connotations, and rightfully so. But publicly, people refused to sort of decode their bigotry. You had to code the bigotry. And then now we're at the point where Kanye West can't go 17 seconds without slamming, like, the Jewish mafia, the cabal of Jews who secretly control anything and everything and are ruining his life on purpose. Okay, so then we get this. Former President Donald Trump has told multiple people that Kanye West is acting, quote, too crazy, and that he needs some, quote, professional help. This is via Rolling Stone. When Donald Trump is correctly questioning your mental health, oh man, how far gone are you? Oh, dude, you needed help a long, long time ago with multiple medications. When Donald Trump, whose whole thing is like, I'm gonna be politically incorrect, I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want, even if it's bigoted, even if it's crazy, even if it's extremist, I will say it. I could shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue, all my supporters would be there, and I'm not gonna stop. This dude, who has spent the last year or more basically out there denying the results of a Democratic election, which has been verified over 60 times by the U.S. court system, even verified by Republican judges and even Trump-appointed judges. This dude is like, hey man, Kanye, reel it in a little bit publicly, man. This is getting kind of crazy. It looks like you might need some professional help, man. I'm just trying to help you. That's wild. when this dude is saying that, this dude, okay, unbelievable. But now we get, so there's the private concerns of Trump, which is one thing, and then there's the public face of Trump when asked specifically about this. So I don't know what network this is, Salem something? I never even heard of this network. But Mediaite got this clip. Trump did an interview, and guy asked a decent question, and Trump's answer about Kanye publicly is fascinating. So let's watch, and then I'll tell you why he's doing this.
He's been saying some really offensive things lately about your own son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and about Jewish people, Jewish Americans writ large. Could you react to that? Because is this the guy that you knew?
Well, I haven't really seen the statements he's made. I did watch the Tucker Carlson interview, and he was really nice to me.
We'll listen to the rest of it in a second. He basically repeats the same thing over and over. We'll listen to the rest of it, but this is his MO. And by the way, this shit usually works when Trump does this. Remember back when, I think it was when he was a candidate in 2016, he was asked about how, David Duke was like openly supporting him as the former KKK guy. And Trump's like, David Duke, who's David? I don't even know who David Duke is. What is a David Duke? I'm totally unfamiliar with him. And they keep asking him to denounce him. He's like, how could I denounce somebody? I don't even know who it is. And he's doing the same thing. Asked about Kanye West, very public meltdown, covered by any and every media outlet, right wing, left wing, center, otherwise, right? And he's like, Kanye West, is Kanye West saying some stuff? I'm really unfamiliar with what he's been saying, so I can't really comment on it. Well, then how the fuck did we get this report from Rolling Stone where behind the scenes, you're like, this motherfucker's crazy and he needs some professional help. But publicly it's Kanye. I don't even think it was Kanye in the news recently. I haven't even seen that. I don't even know what you're talking about. He's such a fucking liar. It's so, this is, when you're a pathological liar, there isn't even, you start to think that the things you say are true, even though they're obviously lies. You're pathological. You just can't stop. All right, let's listen to the rest of it.
Beyond anybody. He was great to me, and he was great really to the MAGA movement, which was very impressive. I was, not surprised. I always got along with him. I liked him. I've always gotten along with him. So I don't really know what statements he made. Sometimes he'll make a statement, and a lot of people will think it's worse than he means it to be.
I love this. Oh, my God. So, look, there was... Okay. When you were, earlier on in the scandal, maybe there was plausible deniability, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, he said one thing, but, maybe we're misinterpreting it. Maybe, look at where his heart is really at, as opposed to the literal words coming out of his mouth. There was an argument for that at some point. Maybe that point was a long, long time ago, but there was some argument for that, and you could be sympathetic to somebody who makes that argument. But now, after the Drink Champs podcast, there is no debate. There is no question. I mean, look, don't take my word for it. Actually, you should literally take my word for it, because you should go watch my video covering the Drink Champs podcast, and then you don't have to take my word for it. You could also just look at his literal words in the podcast. And there is no, we are so far past any semblance of a reasonable defense. And Trump, bless his heart, is trying to one extent or another. Hold on, let me run it back just a touch.
To the MAGA movement, which was very impressive. I was, not surprised. I always got along with him. I liked him. I've always gotten along with him. So I don't really know what statements he made. Sometimes he'll make...
I don't really know what statements he made. Did he say 412 things about the Jews? Was it 412 or was it 413 things about the Jews? About how they're evil, they're a mafia, they're secretly controlling absolutely everything and everyone, and they're to blame for all the problems in the world. How many comments did he make about the Jews? I don't even know what he said. I don't even know what you're talking about. Come on, man. Some of the comments, again, covered this in the segment on his Drink Champs appearance. You can go check that out. But one of the things he said, and this one, I forgot to put the timestamp for this one in there. And you could find copies of it being up elsewhere. I mean, they pulled it down. Drink Champs pulled it down, but others uploaded it to YouTube. He says at one point, my goal is to make it so that a little Jewish boy goes to his dad and says, Daddy, what have we done wrong? I don't even know. I haven't even seen what Kanye has been saying recently. I don't even know.
A statement, and a lot of people will think it's worse than he means it to be. But I think that I was certainly very. You know what I'm talking about. He was really high on a guy named Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's been saying.
He's fucking amazing, this guy. So look, this is classic Donald Trump in a sense. He this is what he does. Like, he does this thing where as long as you are loyal to him, he will go to bat for you in a way that is beyond unreasonable. His number one criteria for his inner circle is, do you love a Donald, a J, a Trump? That's his one. And remember, there were articles that came out not too long ago about how, when he runs again, when Trump runs again, there is a 0% chance he picks Mike Pence as his VP, even though Mike Pence was already his VP. Because, of course, Mike Pence, even though he was sycophantic and did everything Donald Trump wanted 99.99% of the time, now he's out. Why? Because Pence had one little single shred of integrity and said, I can't destroy American democracy on your behalf because you want me to protest the accurate results of a democratic election. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Pence had legal experts, conservative judges whispering in his ear, giving him advice. There is nothing that their legal theory stands on. You can't get up there and say, I reject the results of this election. Because the evidence is in. The numbers are in. This has been tried in court a number of times. There is no legal theory by which you could do this. And Pence's like, all right, I got to do what I got to do. Well, Trump now, for his next VP pick, he's already said this, the number one criteria is, will you say the election is stolen, and will you be loyal to me in any and all circumstances? This is classic, authoritarian thinking. And Trump and Kanye have this in common, which is, I'm only going to be surrounded by yes men. Nobody around me is going to dissent. Nobody around me is going to disagree. People around me are there to suck me off 24/7. To tell me I'm amazing, to tell me my farts don't smell. This is why people are around me. And so, since Kanye goes to bat for Trump, Trump is going to bat for Kanye, but I'll make a prediction right now for you. Right now. Kanye's already talking about he wants to run in 2024. And he's acting like he already won the way he's talking. His delusions of grandeur, right? Oh, they're going to split up at some point. They're going to split up. And they're going to start going at each other. And it is going to be fucking hilarious. So I'm here for that. But at the moment, Trump is still defending Kanye. And it puts things in a new light when you look back at Trump. I mean, not that the bigotry wasn't obvious in many ways. The Mexicans, they're criminals, they're rapists. I assume some are good people. We need a total and complete shutdown of Muslims coming into this country until we can figure out what the hell is going on. That classic Donald Trump. Okay. But remember, guys, in 2016, he released his closing ad. You remember that? And I remember I compared his 2016 closing ad to his 2020 closing ad. And the 2016 closing ad was just infinitely better. The 2020 closing ad was him dancing in a goofy way on stage, and it was just a bad ad, right? Politically, it was impotent. But the 2016 closing ad was actually good. Why? Because he portrayed himself as, look, I'm the outsider. I'm going to fight for the forgotten working man and woman. I'm against, the globalist elites. And I remember at the time there was a scandal because in the part of the ad where he goes against, I think the terminology was globalist elites, or it was something similar to that, right? There were a number of people who were saying, holy shit, that's an anti-Semitic dog whistle. Now, why? Not because he said the word globalist elite only, but because when he said the word globalist elite, flashing on the screen was, I believe it was Janet Yellen, Jewish, Ben Bernanke, Jewish, and George Soros, Jewish. So they flash a few people on screen. They all happen to be Jewish. And again, the terminology was like globalist elites and maybe even they threw in another descriptor there, right? And at the time, some people were like, that, okay, fuck, this is anti-Semitism, it's anti-Semitism. And I remember many people at the time, including me, were like, I don't know, that seems like a little bit of a stretch because, you know, I'm against George Soros funneling millions of dollars into our political system and then getting whatever he wants from the politicians because he's doing that. But now when you look back on it, number one, it actually is effective politics because everybody is against, quote unquote, the elites. But number two, was the intention there to be a dog whistle? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, it very likely was like Steve Bannon who was having a lot of input on that ad, and Steve Bannon sprinkled that in there, you know? And it was effective politically, but it also was very clearly an anti-Semitic dog whistle. And now, looking back at it through everything that's happening now, with Kanye's, anti-Semitic meltdown and Trump sort of defending him publicly, and Trump now tweeting about the ungrateful Jews, it's like, oh, of course it was fun. Of course it was that. Of course. But the problem, they do have a problem though. When you code the bigotry, honestly, in many ways, people can sort of accept it. Because the coding, if the coding is nuanced enough, then people sort of, it's hard for people to see through the coding. And they think like, what are you talking about? This isn't like, there's no problem here. But as soon as you drop the coding and you just say the crazy bigoted shit, you lose almost everybody. I mean, there's going to be some small percentage, whatever it is, 20%, whatever, who are like, oh yeah, no, totally, you know, we're with that. But the overwhelming majority, people don't like to think of themselves as bigoted, xenophobic, racist, anti-Semitic, whatever it is. If you code it, maybe, but then when you drop the coding, no, dunsies. And so the mask off moment is not like, this doesn't help Trump politically, and this doesn't help Kanye West, and it's quite a disaster to watch. It's quite a disaster to watch. So anyway, there you have it. Trump has now commented on Kanye West's public meltdown. He says one thing privately, like, holy shit, this guy needs help. But publicly, he's still defending him. And also, he's going to meet with him in the middle of his, period of mania from his bipolar disorder. Lovely. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.